Hi guys, Texas Tiff here with my new friend j.waller from Galt Construction. And Joshua's going to talk to us a little bit about some roofing questions that I have.
Yes.
So first thing I want to ask you is, so we moved to Texas fairly recently in the last couple years, but we just bought a new house.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you a picture of it. And we had a little bit of a windstorm the other day, and we had a tree come down. Do you think this is repairable? Here, I don't know if do we have that picture? Let's see. Oh. Oh, wow. That's not exactly what I was going for.
Yeah, I'd say you're done on that one.
Let's see. I think we can just slap some shingles on that. I don't know.
Looks like that could have been a lightning strike, maybe.
Maybe. Did we have lightning the other day? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now. So, there's another good one. That's our house in Washington, actually.
I'm about to say someone's got a garden on their roof. Okay.
Moss is
I know that's a
cute.
thing, but
In
not
your
here in
yard.
Texas.
Nope.
So
Not good. We need to deal with that. And then, ooh.
yeah, you definitely got a leak there. Looks like you're gonna have to do some decking work
That's
on that
some
one.
serious,
Sight unseen,
serious
huh?
work there. There's the house I was referring to that we just bought. Sight unseen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you see that big gaping hole, if
Yeah.
you just take a bucket and
Oh,
put
okay.
it right underneath it,
Okay.
you'll probably be okay.
We'll be all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the rest of the house is not a disaster.
It's a little rough. A little rough.
All right. Yeah. Don't buy a house sight unseen. My realtor totally did not do well on that. Okay. So let's just talk through an actual scenario. We were just trying to be goofy a little bit there. So we have a really bad hailstorm. I know that's a common thing in
Yep.
North Texas. And you can't look at a house necessarily and see visually what's happened. So what do? Do I call my insurance company? So walk us through. We've had a bad storm. What do I do the next morning?
That's a great question, Tiffany. So what I would say to do is, first off, there's a lot of signs that you can look for to see if you did have hail and if there is hail damage. Although you may not be able to see it clearly on the roof, you can look at your windows, take a look at your screens,
Okay.
and you can usually see signs of hail damage there. And if you see that, call your trusted roofer first.
Okay. Call the
If
roofer
you
first.
don't have a roofer, then who I would call would be the realtor that sold you the house and say, who would you recommend
Okay.
for a roofer? And that roofer is going to come out and they will confirm that, yes, you have hail damage and you should file a claim. And that roofer will help you file that claim
Okay.
and walk you through that process, especially if you've got a good quality roofer there working with you. But that's how you handle that.
Okay, that's good. We haven't had to do that yet. Those of you who are not in North Texas, we've learned a lot about the hailstorms here. And I was just doing some research on this too, that roofs here, even if you get the roof with the 30-year warranty on it, what's the average you would just guess? This is not a statistic, anybody don't freak out, but
Well, I would definitely say here in North Texas with our storms, probably about a 3 to 5 year window is how often you're seeing a roof get replaced because of how many hailstorms that we're having and high wind that we also have as well that will cause a lot of damage.
okay. Wow. That's not something we dealt with in Washington at all. We dealt with moss and mold more than anything. So that's something to keep in mind in North Texas. Now, most of those are due to weather, wind, hail, really bad storm. Therefore, it's going to be typically going to be an insurance
Typically, yes.
claim. Now, if it's something totally different, you've been in the house for a while, you live in some weird zone where you don't get all that weird weather. If you find that place, let me know. You have to have your roof replaced. Oh my gosh, insurance isn't going to cover it. Now what? How much is a roof? They're what?
Well, I mean, so
Pretty spendy.
if you happen to be in a position to where insurance isn't going to replace the roof, then yeah, it can get a little costly. There's a lot of different determining factors that go into that. It depends on the overall size of your house, the slope of the roof,
Oh, okay.
how much material is actually currently on the roof that has to get ripped off, and then what you're actually putting back up there.
Okay.
So it could really be all over the board, but if you're in that type of situation, it can be costly. Yes.
So what are a couple of reasons for having somebody come in to you and saying, I got to pay cash for a roof?
Well,
What's your favorite one? We talked about this earlier. This is a great one.
So typically, if you see someone that's having to pay cash for a roof, it's because they've already made that insurance claim.
Oh, okay.
And you're in the process of having to sell, and you have to replace that roof here in Texas, because they're not going to let you make that transaction without replacing that roof.
Okay.
And then so when you find out, a lot of the times, well, what did you spend that money on if you made the insurance claim and you didn't replace the roof? Well, you find out, hey, we took a trip to Disney, right? And so
that's what the boat in the backyard is from.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see where
or that was my down payment on the boat, or hey, we went to Italy, whatever it may be. They just chose not to replace the roof. So then that puts you in a position where you have to pay cash to replace the roof.
Yeah, because you've spent the money already.
Right, and
Oh,
so there's a couple different ways that you handle that, right? And so what you would do is, in that scenario, you can work with your roofer to where you can pay them cash to have the roof done out of your own pocket. But a lot of the times when you're a seller selling, you're typically
has that
looking
money?
at buying another house. And that could cause issues with the lending side, because you may not have enough money in the bank,
Sure,
right?
to do both.
But you know you're going to have enough money to replace the roof. So that's where you could work with a roofer that will finance that roof for you until you actually close. And then that roofer can collect from the title company, just like everybody else does,
right?
when they collect at the sale of the house.
Okay, so if you're selling a house, you find out, oops, we spent that money, or oops, we didn't know there was a roof issue. We've got to replace it before we can sell. Then okay, that's good to know. We also talked a little bit about deductibles on insurance too. Now we've done an episode on insurance. Be sure and go back and watch that if you haven't, from State Farm. But the insurance deductibles are higher, we found too, in this area because of
your hail
hail
damage, your
and
storms and stuff
Sure.
like that. So we have seen a lot when you start looking at insurance that deductibles have raised significantly.
Okay.
And there are times to where they may say, hey, it's a 2% deductible, off the value of the house. And well, that may end up being twice what the roof actually costs.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't make any sense at that point to actually file insurance, and then you're going to need to do a cash roof at that point.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's something to look out on your deductibles. So you would want to, in that case, work with your insurance agent to make sure you have a reasonable deductible there, because that's the last thing you want to do is get caught, because you already know here in North Texas, you're going to have to replace your roof.
At some point,
right?
if you're in a house for any length of time, more
And you
than
don't want
5
to be,
years.
you don't want to be caught having to pay a lot of money out of pocket to do that, when you could just have a lower deductible to be able to take care of it through insurance.
Check with your insurance agent. Make sure you've got a lower deductible on your roof for sure.
Yeah, right.
So how do you know if you can repair something versus whether you've just got to replace the whole thing? What's something you can do that's repairable versus something you're going to rip? Obviously, you got a hole in it, like my lovely roof there with a tree in it. That one might need more than a bucket.
Yeah,
but
that's going to need a little bit of work there for sure. So what I would say on knowing if it needs to be repaired or replaced, as a homeowner, you may not be able to tell that, right? But let's just use a scenario. Storm comes through and there's a lot of wind damage, right? And when I say a lot of wind damage, there's just a lot of high winds that does cause some damage to the house, right? And let's just say it removes a couple of shingles or flips a couple of shingles back and breaks them, right?
Okay.
Well, that's an easy repair for a repair crew. And that's when you would call that roofer that actually has a repair crew, then come out and just simply repair that for you. It's a very inexpensive cost. You typically won't want to get insurance involved.
Okay.
But if that roofer did come out to do the repair and they see on the roof that really there's enough damage up here to, justify for a claim, then you probably need to make that claim. Okay. That's when you would handle it at that, but that's how you would address it.
Just a few shingles from the wind. That's
yeah.
Either way,
those
you're
are
still
easy
gonna have
repairs.
somebody come
Yeah.
look at. Okay. Okay. What are some signs that your roofer might be a little on the shady side? Because we saw the realtor on the shady side that sold me that house.
Yeah.
What are some signs that you might need to look at, get a second opinion? How's that?
Okay, yeah, get a second opinion from, So, well, first thing is you could ask any trusted realtor, just like yourself, Tiffany, that knows that a lot of roofers here in Texas, you don't have to be licensed to do roofs.
Really?
And if you have a car and an extension ladder, you can literally call yourself a roofer.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why there's a lot of fly-by-night roofers, right?
Yeah.
And they are shady companies. Some of the key indicators that I would say is, do you even have an office?
Okay.
That's a big one.
Okay.
A lot of them won't even have offices. Another one would be, well, did they call you back in a timely manner? Don't make you wait for days. Do they do they do what they say they're going to do?
Do they show up?
Right. Do they show up?
How many vendors have you guys called, had something scheduled, you take the day off work, or in this case, we're all working from home, I don't guess we're going anywhere, but they don't even come. They don't call you. They don't show up.
Those are all tall tale signs
Probably
that
don't want to do business
you
with
probably
them.
don't want to do business with them. And I would say lastly, they're probably a shady roofer if their name isn't Joshua, Waller, and with Galt.
There
Just
you have
saying.
it. That's it. That's how you know. So if you've got somebody that you're talking to that their name is not Joshua, Waller, with Galt, they may not be the person you should be working with.
That's right, Tiffany. That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, that was some fascinating information. I've always wondered that. I'm always like, how do you know if your roof needs work? I mean, other than the obvious signs, but that's, now is it usually, do you guys do free estimate work, or is that something somebody needs to expect to pay for?
Yeah. A
someone
lot
to
of
get
the
up on your roof?
times you think typically when you're working with your realtor, or even if you're not working with the realtor, let's say you're not even in a sales cycle at all.
Yeah.
With your house.
You're just a homeowner that,
If a storm comes, that's when what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to call, like myself, Joshua at Galt, and I will come out and I will do a free estimate for your roof, and I will tell you, yeah, you have enough damage on here to qualify for an actual insurance claim. And then from there, I'm going to actually hold your hand through the process and make sure that you are represented well and that you get everything that you need to take care of that roof, right?
do y'all know any other professions that do that for you? That are going to hold your hand? Yeah. If you're working on buying a house, like from a builder, per se, then you probably want to have a realtor who's working with you. Somebody who's going to be on your side. It's the same thing with roofing. You want to have somebody who's on your side. I don't know if you've ever dealt with insurance claims with some of our not so reputable insurance companies. Not State Farm, we love State Farm. But they come out, oh yeah, well, you were telling me earlier that a lot of the claims adjusters use a drone.
Yeah, so that is one thing a lot of insurance companies have moved to here lately is it's a liability to send an adjuster up on a roof, right? You think you got a person that's going up there. What if they fall off? Well, that costs them a whole lot more money than them just showing up. So they've been equipping them with drones to actually take footage of the roof. However, the problem is that drone is only going to be able to pick up so much.
It's got to be something pretty
Right.
sizable.
I mean, you got to really be able to tell. And so what I've run into is, yes, an adjuster went out there with a drone and they denied the roof, but I went out there and still did the inspection anyways and found enough just cause to replace that roof as an insurance claim. And so that just kind of goes to show you that drones can't always pick up everything. So,
right.
And then speaking on insurance companies too, and then also kind of going back to the
shady guys,
the shady roofers,
okay.
right? It is illegal, I repeat, illegal to have a roofer take care of your deductible for you. It used to be legal, but now it is illegal. So if you ever have a roofer that says, hey, and don't worry about that deductible, we'll take care of it, run the other way.
Run.
And shame on you for not calling me first.
Because he ain't going to pay your deductible.
Definitely not
nice.
going to pay it.
Good
I'm a
guy.
nice guy, yeah. But
He's going to keep it on the straight. Well, Joshua, I keep doing that. I'm sorry. My son hates it when we call him short names too. I appreciate you coming on with us tonight, and his information will be in the link below. Feel free to call Joshua if you have any questions or if there's anything else he can help you with. If you call me, I'm definitely going to be sending you this direction because I know he'll take good care of you. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for coming on with me tonight.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.